The following program is for mature audiences only. None of the information provided is intended to be medical or any other professional advice requiring licensing through any regulatory agency. It is for entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Satori. I'm an intuitive spiritual counselor assisting in raising the vibration of our planet. I was born with extraordinary gifts, experienced enlightenment for 6 months years ago, speak light language, and channel a being called Celeste, who is an ambassador for a galactic council of 60. I am able to scan your energy field for emotional blockages and talk to or aid in the healing of your organs using Qigong energy healing. I can also help you make decisions, talk to your pets, deceased loved ones, and your friends and family's higher selves. I can help you navigate your relationships and answer pressing questions in your life by talking with the unseen world. I use these skills I've developed to translate the images, feelings, impressions, and messages I'm given while tuning into you and your situation. I work Thursday through Saturday as a psychic for the Lighthouse Bookstore downtown Boulder, Colorado, and conduct remote readings all over the world. You can order a private reading from my website at amysatori.com. Please like, share, subscribe, and follow me here on Podbean, Instagram, my 1111 Twin Flame Forum on Facebook, and YouTube. Set a reminder in your phone to call live on the show any Sunday, 5:30 Pacific, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central, or 8:30 Eastern, to ask me a question, receive a blessing, or have me do some energy work on you. So, my friends, without further ado, let's get to today's show. Thank you for joining me here on the Satori Show. So, I finally gave the loaner car back. The universe had me lose my keys, which didn't quite work. Then I had to go get an ice scraper out of my car to battle the snow when the other thing didn't work. And so I finally had to just go down there and tell them what was going on. They tried to play it off like they knew about it all along. And but I knew that they had forgotten because it was like the car was lost. I mean, it was way back in a very back lot. Like they didn't know what to do with it. So I think that's pretty funny. Hey, if you guys didn't hear that last episode, I would highly recommend it. The one with the couple that talks about how they've come into union and what they're able to do within their relationship. They just handle things so maturely. I was just so impressed by them. So don't miss that episode if you did miss it. Okay, so I'm going to start off with updates on the Twin Flames. The show isn't all about Twin Flames, but it is about ascending the planet, and it's about uplifting, inspirational things that bring people to a higher place. And that just so happens to be the path of the Twin Flames. So, and I am a Twin Flame, so I do give reports on these Twin Flames every week. So, and this is just what I have observed in my own readings and the collective readings and whatnot, and just what I'm getting intuitively in some of the downloads I've gotten. For the Divine Masculines, the thing that's come up for a lot of Divine Masculines this week has been their drive to never fail. But I've been telling them that no amount of material possessions or ducks in a row will ever be enough for you to be ready. This is fearful thinking. She has to have a big, or you think she has to have a big fat ring like your karmic ex would have wanted, the one who, by the way, liked you for the wrong reasons. You think she needs a nice car, big house, but the truth is when you find your true love, they don't care about all that. All they want is to be by your side, to be the one who you give your heart to and the one to make love to. The masculines are the more materialistic ones and tie a lot of their self-worth in what they do, how much they make, etc. But you have to go deeper to what you're most afraid of and get to the bottom of it, so you can you could miss aligning with the love of your life. There's also a part of most masculines who are used to being the martyr and almost expect to lose out on love. When they find their true love, however, they are challenged in all those old beliefs that they were accustomed to and are called to love themselves like never before. It happens to both of them actually in different ways. It just so happens the masculines are quite comfortable suffering until they're no longer willing to put up with the norm. The only thing that can create your happiness is a healthy mindset and good communication. That's it. No money, not things, not reaching that goal, not getting that job. Those are all just frosting on the situation and adds additional security, but you have to ultimately trust life to supply. Know that you will be blessed in your union because it's a divinely guided thing, and forget the end results or anything that could go wrong and just get the ball rolling, taking it step by step with honesty. As scary as that is. Divine Feminine, some of you have become paralyzed because every time you've reached out to your masculine with your truth, he ran. You felt punished for your honesty. So now you're forced to lie or not speak at all. You may have developed a fear of being honest even, but the masculine just feels he has to be perfect in order to be your knight in shining armor and will push you away until he has everything lined up and ready. They don't realize they couldn't be further from the truth. You don't care about their perfection, that they have to face that on their own. You can't fix it, and that's not your job. Your job is to remain in your integrity and to continue to work on your own fears and insecurities about them pushing you away while both of you face your deepest, darkest fears in relationships. Ultimately, you can come together and heal each other as two whole individuals starting all over again, fresh, new, and whole. By the time you guys come into union, if you do, you will both seem like very different people than the people you originally met in the best way possible. Okay, energy between both of the twins, energy that's shared. One thing that makes a twin flame relationship different than just somebody you would normally date is there is a spiritual, energetic connection. Oftentimes you feel what they feel and have their epiphanies with them, but then you have to learn to decipher between you and them. For example, I had this realization today that I work really hard and stay super busy staying on a superficial level because I'm avoiding the fact that I'm deeply unhappy and depressed inside. I felt so lonely and sad I crawled back into bed to sleep for the rest of the day. For those of you who know me, you would understand why I was confused because this didn't sound like me. But then a male, divine masculine, texted me that he battles with seasonal depression. Then another divine feminine texted me just minutes later asking how I'm doing emotionally today, and I said, really shitty. She said that she felt sad and lonely too, and she just talked to another divine feminine who told her that as well. I told her the way I figure is if it's our twins or old feelings of the past resurfacing for healing and releasing, the best thing we can possibly do is give ourselves TLC. I sent the twins a blessing surrounding and protecting them with love, support, and encouragement. In a couple hours, I felt much better. I know the masculines are going through a real battle right now in the fifth dimension, meaning energetically. Wearing any black grounding stone like tourmaline or obsidian can help also when going through these types of emotional upheavals. When these times happen, which they will, allow yourself to feel it no matter whose it is, and in doing so you can rise up quicker and help your twin out too. We affect everyone on the planet this way. The more epiphanies or Satoris we have, the more the entire collective of everyone on the planet will do the same. It's also nice to have people you can reach out to, so you don't feel completely alone. You can always reach out on my 1111 Twin Flame forum where I try to share any songs, epiphanies, and videos I feel are relevant to the current energies, whether you're in union or separation. So don't be shy about asking questions there or here on the show. And you can always order a personal reading via email or phone. On that note, a collective twin flame reader I listened to today explained the way we mirror each other in such a cool way it seems repeating. She explains it differently, but it's kind of like the masculines. Now, that doesn't mean this person's sex, but rather the one who runs, mind you. Feels all mushy and gushy on the inside, but has a hard outer shell protecting him, while the feminines are like a garden on the outside, but all guarded deep inside. With the deep inside, so with her, it's like, come on, it's all nice and cozy in here. I welcome you with open arms. But when you get close, she's afraid you'll abandon her and is scared to death of every other girl you look at and any potential threat that could make you leave. Whereas the masculine puts his guard up at the gate. You are not permitted inside these walls ever. She stands outside and she could see how lovely and manicured his garden is in there, but has to do a song and dance trying to make her way in any way that she can while he has one of those guards at attention 24/7 who don't sleep, don't blink, and are all about business and keeping you at arm's distance anyway he can, because he fears once you get inside, you're going to go trample all over his lovely garden, picking it apart, ultimately finding fault with it all, like everyone else has, and ultimately rejecting him. It's like his physical 3D expression says what her inner protected fortress is feeling, and her outer welcoming garden is a depiction of his beautiful inner garden. Isn't that interesting? Essentially, I really like that analogy. Essentially, they both feel the exact same way about each other, but he protects outwardly and she protects deep inside, past the fluff. Each of them need to heal those protective parts of themselves in order to fully welcome the other in to enjoy each other's gardens. And sometimes the feminines, if he never opens his gate, they have to open up their heart to someone else who can help heal her heart, which also in turn helps him heal his and causes him to have his guard take a break and get some shut-eye. This in turn brings greater clarity to the feminines and the masculines to choose from a healthier standpoint. This explains why even when masculine's cards look amazing, they're still cold as steel on the outside until he heals, and why she ultimately surrenders and turns away. It's all part of the divine plan. Although the outcome can differ from couple to couple, they will help each other's hearts, whichever path they choose. The universe knows what it's doing. Unions have been reported. One in particular just reported to me that her divine masculine has been crying and apologizing and wants her back really bad. She says it's like they were in the beginning again, like there's almost been a reset. She said, however, she did, however, have to look inside herself for an apology for him to make this happen. It was the key to crack the code to get into his gate. Every case is different, but be sure to look into your heart of hearts, both of you, and get honest with yourselves. If there's something you need to apologize for, just do it. Holiday time. The holidays are quickly approaching, and many of us have experienced trauma around holidays that can be hard to get over. Everything can remind us of the pain of the past. I believe the best way to deal with this is to stay in the moment, in a state of enjoyment, and out of your thoughts. You can rewrite your definition of something that once made you suffer and even learn to appreciate it. You can enjoy any circumstance if you see it in the right light. If a particular person is tough to deal with, try picturing a heart around them, like God is saying, love him or her as my child unconditionally, and observe them from an observer standpoint instead of allowing yourself to take them personally. Know that everything everyone says that triggers you is both something they are actually saying about themselves, and that you being triggered by it means it's something you also believe about you. So just admit it and have a good laugh. They can't hurt you if you laugh along or ignore them, just like demons. You guys have heard me talk about dealing with the dark side. And if you haven't, I don't know if I feel like repeating it right now. I won't go into it right now. If you guys want to call into the show and ask about that, I'll tell you all about it. Okay. Sound and music has also been coming up. Sound and music have been coming up a lot lately and can be incredibly healing and transformative. Making dinner, doing chores, and working out can be so much more fun with music. I have the funnest workout I do, and I do it in the comfort of my room. I have a playlist of trap music set on shuffle and a timer. I do interval dance running. I run really fast for a minute, then dance slow for 2 minutes, and repeat for 20 minutes. If you want to get in your twin flame collective readings and still work out, put on headphones while you do your Pilates routine as well. That's what I do. Figure out a way to make mundane things fun using music and try a sound bath sometime. It can make all the difference in how you experience your world. I remember the other night my roommate had a date. There was a tad bit of tension in the air, and I recommended she put on some music, and suddenly the atmosphere was filled with a fun energy, and when he got there a few minutes later, I could hear them laughing, and they seemed so relaxed. It was beautiful background noise to hear them having such a great time. All right, big misunderstandings are happening right now, too, during Mercury retrograde, especially with money matters. Do not assume things about your twin or anyone else for that state of mind, for that matter, about their state of mind. Ask questions. For example, just because they're successful and flourishing somewhere doesn't mean they wouldn't move to be closer to you. And just because they say they want a Beamer doesn't mean you can't start going out or getting to know each other better till you have a certain amount of savings or a high enough paying job to support that. One female divine masculine I know saw her divine feminine as a frivolous spender, but when I talked to him, he says that's not how it was at all, or is at all. He had been just spending a lot on taking her out for fancy dinners and buying her things because he heard her talking about another guy and how much money he has, and he was feeling competitive. I recommended they agree to get on a budget and have these deeper talks to find out why each other does what they do and get on the same page. All right. This is a conversation that I had via Messenger with a client. She says, Amy, I am feeling spirituality still has its place in my life. I just don't know what to do with all the dark stuff I've listened to on the New Age movement. I apologize for my abruptness and hope you can forgive me. I'm hoping for some guidance still through you if you can forgive me and see I am truly seeking. Of course you're forgiven. You can ask me anything. All of you can. You got to only talk to Jesus is my answer, okay? You got to only talk to Jesus and quit watching negative stuff on the internet. The answers are within you, not in information that you seek. The Word of God is within you, not in a book. Also, most religious people who say bad things about New Age teachings have never experienced oneness with God, aka enlightenment. They're only parrots reciting what they've been told by other closed-minded teachers with passed down information meant to control people with fear, which is not Jesus' way. Having said that, there are some real New Age weirdos too. Look for the fruits. Are those talking to you truly happy and free of fear, or do they try to make you feel guilty, and are they burdened themselves with life's ways? Do they know peace? Do they have a sense of humor? Because where there is humor, there is goodness. The Dalai Lama once said, true religion is a good heart, and I believe that to be true. She said, it's hard with my dad's voice in my head, but I hear you, and I feel that. And I said, your dad isn't Jesus. Who's your Lord? We can worship false idols, or we can listen to God himself or itself. I believe God is a synonym for group of deities. She said, ugh, I hear you. Why is it so hard? I said, because how our society is programmed to eat fear up. One who makes decisions by guilt teaches another to do the same, but the devil's in the details. Our ego searches for answers, and its thirst cannot be quenched. It can only be quieted by the kind openness of the heart where the real answers surface. Your mind must be quiet for true clarity. Ask Jesus at every turn and believe what he says. He kind of knows what he's talking about. Also, if whoever's talking to you seems negative, it's probably not Jesus. Jesus gives some tough love, yes, but he's also unconditionally loving and gentle in his approach because he's an expert at touching people's hearts. Egos make you react, love makes you respond, and God is unconditional love. Then she says, when things hit the fan in my mind, I thought I must be doing something wrong. I said, I believe the devil is our ego. So if you are thinking or doing something to preserve yourself somehow or make yourself look good, that's the ego or the devil. To be unbiased about ourselves, we free ourselves of the devil's trappings and live by God's will alone. It requires, however, stepping into the kingdom of heaven within you, which is, as the Bible talks about, is like fitting a camel through the eye of a needle. You must be willing to give up attachment to all material possessions, egoic ideas, and follow him into the peace in your heart, into oneness with God, or you won't make it. Make it to what? Your true, authentic self beyond the personality, back home to who you truly are, back to the absolute. She said, but what of people's experiences with the actual manifestation of the devil? Mwah. The devil, demons, and the dark side can't touch you if you have no ego. We all have free will. We give our free will to the devil when we fear. We stay in our power when we stay indifferent, pure-hearted, have a sense of humor, and laugh at the devil's antics. If you want to learn more about what it is to be enlightened, I put a link to a talk about it in the description of this show. Okay, so I'm going to start to take some of these calls. Looks like our call screener is not on the line yet, so I'm just going to pick up some calls here. Hey,
Hello?
who's this? This is Jamie. Hi.
This is Bridget. Hi.
Hi, Bridget. How are you?
The last few days have been really, really rough for me.
Okay.
I'm having problems, well, not problems, but I am in a twin flame Germany. We are speaking. We are in contact. This holiday season, I lost my son to a drunk driver almost 2 years ago. So the last few days have really triggered me, and he has pulled back a lot because he just isn't. He's like, I'm not the guy to come cry on your shoulder with. We're in separation. We're not in a relationship. We're still friends, still talking. But I really needed him, and he's just pulling back even more. So I'm not even sure what he's thinking.
I've been seeing this lately, and I think this is like, some of this is caused by their past pain and their own families growing up, and the pressure to kind of, it's kind of like, God, I had a great analogy the other day with someone, but it's kind of like how someone freezes when, if you were thrown into an emergency room situation and someone says, hand me that, and they're just kind of like deer in the headlights. Sometimes when they get in certain situations, it's too much pressure and they can't take it. I remember, like, I had a dog one time that was having such, she was the most precious dog in the world. She was absolutely amazing. She was like Lassie, and her hips were failing her, and I had to take her to the chiropractor regularly, like 2-3 days a week, to try to get a degenerative disease to reverse in her back. And when I left him, he agreed to take her, and he never did, and it got worse. And then she couldn't go to the bathroom by herself, and we had to have her evacuated a couple times a week. It was horrible, and he couldn't take the whole situation, and he just completely pulled back away, and I ended up having to go put her down. And it was horrific for me to go through by myself, and he would absolutely not have anything to do with it, and I knew how much he loved her and how much it killed him, but he couldn't do anything. So I think masculines, not saying men in general, but the masculines, whether they're women or men, sometimes they just freeze under the pressure. And I can imagine with what you've been through that, sometimes they just don't know what to do. And sometimes that's when we have to lean on our own strength and our own power. And I know that it seems kind of like a tough love thing by the universe, but it's what shows us how strong we are.
Yeah, the universe has been sending a lot of tough love these last few days.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
that must be so hard.
Well, and now he's talking about, like, if we're dating other people in 6 months, how is it going to look if we're still as close as we are? And I know with my whole being that we will be together. I know that we will have union. We've actually been together for 3.5 years.
Okay.
This is the longest that we've been in separation. And I don't even know if you can really call it separation. We're not in a typical, normal, like, society type relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But we talk every day. We still hang out and do things. He did come over last night and just sit with me for a while, which was good.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I was going to say sometimes that's all they can do is just kind of be there. And honestly, if there are some masculines listening to this, sometimes that is the very thing that you can do, is just be present and show up. You don't necessarily have to have the words to say. Just hold her hand, her or his hand. Just hold the person's hand who's suffering and let them cry on your shoulder. You don't have to. Some of them feel like in those moments, it's like, I'm going to let you down and you'll like never forgive me for having done or said the wrong thing. It's too much.
Yeah, he likes, well, most men that I know, they're fixers. They like to be able to fix things, and he knows he can't fix this. So
right.
He runs from it. He's also dealing with...
Well, and he doesn't know how to deal with it either, you know. If he doesn't know how to deal with it, how can he tell you how to deal with it, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad that he was here.
Yeah, I had to actually totally beg him, basically, to come over because I needed him, but he did step up and do it, at least.
Yeah. I'm sure he was shaken, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. He the only reason why we aren't in a relationship together is his ex. She is a total narcissistic. Makes his life hell if he's seeing anybody else. Makes their children's life hell. And he said now he's it's to the point where he's like, I can't date anybody, I can't see anybody, I can't be with anybody for 6 years until the kids are gone.
Oh my gosh.
His youngest is 13.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't have a problem with that. I don't think he's dealing with his ex the right way all the time, but I try to support his decisions on what he thinks is right for her, but I just don't. I guess I'm really at a point where I really need him, especially this holiday season, and I want to be with him. And he says he loves me. He's like, but that doesn't change anything. And I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm hearing so many reports of this right now, and what's really unfortunate is, and more and more masculines are listening to the show, and I'm so glad because, oh my gosh, if you're raising your kid in an environment that's unhealthy like that, and they're having to see the way that you kind of, walk on eggshells, and the way you can't be your authentic self, you're teaching your children to be that way. They're seeing, you're modeling that behavior for them. So it's so much.
He didn't like what I pointed that out.
I'm sure he didn't. But it's true. Having said that, though, it's like, gosh, there's a divine purpose in everything. So, I wasn't raised in the best of environments in the whole world, and a lot of us haven't been, and it's kind of shaped us and molded us into who we are. But a lot of these masculines, they just have such rigid beliefs. It's like, open your mind up and just think about how much happier the environment could be if you go through a little bit of pain ripping that Band-Aid off, but then you really have an incredible time being able to be yourself with this new person and giggle and laugh and tickle and just have a totally different environment, totally different mood. And those kids are going to grow up to feel like, you know what, even if you have to make adjustments in life, even if you have to go through a divorce or a tough situation, it could actually turn everything around for the better, and teach them to kind of go with the flow with life a little better, instead of, that's so rigid to think that I just have to stick through this hell till it's like, and when, how do you know they're not going to be traumatized at 50 years old? They might be 50 and be like, what? You guys divorced? I can't believe it. Oh my gosh, You don't know when's the good age. Technically after, if you've given your child adequate love and attention and hugs and kisses and all of that, they can handle a situation like that better at the age of 5. But that's if they were raised with all of that as well. But either way, if you take them from a really difficult situation and put them in a better situation, then what the heck? Would you rather have it, like, look at shelter animals that are in a cage? That's pretty much your masculine in his situation. Would you rather that cat or dog live in a cage the rest of its life, or a kennel? Or have love and support and warmth and be able to be taken out on walks and things? They can have so much better of a life if they can just free themselves of their own mental prison. And some of them are realizing right now that it is their own thinking that's doing it, that they're self-sabotaging. They're really good at self-sabotaging, coming up with these big
really
stories. Yeah. And some of them, it's just astonishing to me because they have like this incredible rainbow of a life calling to them that is so enticing and beautiful and perfect for them. But man, they resist the change and they just dig their heels on. It's like they don't feel like they can handle it. So until they develop that kind of strength, they dig their heels in. What were you going to say though?
What he's doing? I was going to say, do you think that's what he's doing? Just
let me feel into him. Okay, go ahead though.
I was going to say, because I told him, I said, is it better for your kids to have two unhappy parents? Then,
right.
He's the stable one. I said, but now you're making yourself unhappy. Their mom's unhappy. Is it better for them to have two unhappy parents, even though one's stable, than to have one happy, stable parent and the other one not?
Right.
I just don't know what he's thinking and if this is going to play out very well.
Sometimes I don't think the masculines realize the power they have in their hands to manifest whatever they darn well please. It's like use your imagination a little bit. Just imagine that life going really well. Imagine in fact, I'm going to have, tomorrow I'm going to be talking to a couple who have divorced amicably. And I'm going to just really, ask them a lot of questions about how they were able to do that. But, imagine, they don't realize that they can just visualize their way into a much better situation just by meditating on it going really well and anticipating it going really well. Even with a horrible narcissist, it's like if you set your boundaries, you don't give in to them, then you can get out unscathed. You're gonna have some resistance, of course, because they're so selfish. But if you're stern and you can get through it. And if you imagine and use that power of manifestation we have to visualize it going really well, and just knowing and having confidence and having faith that you're being brought into a better life, then you can create that. And I've seen people do it time and again, but they got to take that leap of faith and believe in their new life. So yeah, let me feel into him for a minute. Let me see what information I can get here. Hang on. What's his first name?
Kelly.
Okay. Hang on a minute. Fear. I just feel fear of the unknown. He's at least familiar. He knows how to step around in his environment right now and get by. It's comfortable enough. It's very uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable, or it's comfortable enough. Which is,
It gives into her all the time. He gives into her all the time, so she doesn't make his life miserable.
Right, and the kids are learning that. They're all learning to be doormats, and they're all learning to get bullied and pushed around and manipulated, And so the saga continues and gets passed down from generation to generation and doesn't get fixed, until someone stands up and says, I'm putting a stop to this. And oftentimes this is a pattern that's been repeated for a long time. His parents probably had that happen, and maybe her parents, and, it's like, who's going to stand up for what's right? And, why do you think these twin flame relationships happen? What do you think God's trying to do when he's like constantly bombarding you with signs and things, trying to urge you in that direction? Do you not trust God? Isn't God the creator? Isn't the universe the one, who pretty much knows all of the behind the scenes information? Don't you think the universe is leading you somewhere to greener pastures? And don't you think there might be a reason for it? Where's the fear of God in it?
I don't know if he does.
That's what I mean. They don't seem to. They put so much of an emphasis on form, on the physical, on the tangible, on the material, and that's just not. That's just not where it is. It's like they're so logical that way. But you can change everything by just shifting your mind and the way you look at things. Yeah?
So I was going to say, so do you see us getting back together in union any time during the holidays? Is he actually going to get past that fear of not being able to do anything?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. I actually feel him crying about it sometimes. This is killing him. This is really, really, I mean, he puts on a brave face, but man, this is killing him.
What
wow.
is killing us? Us not being together?
This whole situation. And he knows how bad it is for the kid. He knows.
He tells me he doesn't know how to change it.
Yeah, I mean, we see this in the collective spreads all the time. This is the 9 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, Death, Tower. It's like the universe will force them out of their comfort zone to make goodness happen for them. It's like it's so crazy how you need to be forced to enjoy yourself. God's like, I will make you enjoy your life. If it's the last thing I do, let go, fall into it, would you? Jeez, it really reminds me of a what do they call those out in the? Sometimes I just can't come up with the words. When you have like what is a whirlwind or something when you're out in the ocean and that thing starts twirling around and it like sucks you down. What is that?
A whirlpool?
Yes, a whirlpool. Yeah. So when you're in one of those and you start to get sucked in, now I haven't had this happen, but I've just heard, if you get sucked into one of those things, you're going to die of struggling against it. This is so the masculines. They are just whirlpools or whatever the word is, but they're getting sucked down, right? And they're like fighting and fighting and fighting and doing this doggy paddle. It's like, oh my God, I'm not going down. And it's just like, dude, just let go. If he just lets go, he'll be popped right up out into the another part of the ocean, like a few feet away, and they totally survive. The people who die are the ones who resist it and go against it the whole way. So, yeah, it does feel like. Let me try to get a time frame here for you. I feel like even in a couple weeks, like after Thanksgiving, it's almost like something clicks. It's like I think he almost watches like a Hallmark movie or some kind of, it's like he's watching something with the family and he just can't take it anymore. He has some kind of a breaking point, a breaking moment where it's like his heart just pops wide open and he's like, what the hell am I doing? So, yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, it would be great, right? So let me just feel more into this for a second, because I just see, like, in a couple weeks, some kind of big energy surging that's going to shift quite a bit. It's going to be transformative. So, yeah, let's hope that happens.
I've been meditating, and on her... this sounds kind of weird when I say it out loud, but I picture us in this big white room. Myself and Kelly and her all in this room, and he's holding my hand, but he's also holding her hand. I picture him letting go of her hand and saying, I love you and want you to be happy. It's okay to go now. And she turns around, and way at the end of this room is like a shadow of a person, a man, and it's like, go find your happiness, be happy and joyful, and your person's out there, and go find him. We release you and want you to be happy.
Wow.
Is that weird that I do that?
No.
I don't ever wish her any harm. I want her happy, and if she's happy, then I know he'll have an easier time, and she'll release him and whatever hold she has on him.
Well, everyone in that picture has a better life up ahead if they just let go. Resisting change just keeps everybody stuck in the misery. She could have a better life too. And I think that's the best thing to do, is bless the person, everyone's doing the best job they can, and so send them a blessing, everyone. But what was weird about that is when you first started to talk about that, I tuned into your son.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, go ahead.
He's amazing. He was an amazing, in his 25 short years of life, he touched so many people. He was an amazing soul.
Well, and what he did in my mind's eye was hold your hand. And he was like, Mama, joy. Just remember joy. And then you went into that whole description of the whole thing. You were talking about joy. I was like, that's because your son's like standing next to you, as part of that. But he's with you. He knows how you feel. He feels terrible. Like it feels like he's to blame. He kind of feels really bad. So,
yeah, and that would be him. He would do almost anything to make me happy. We had a really close relationship. He actually saved my life almost 2 years ago at Thanksgiving. In fact, I spent Thanksgiving Day in the ICU. I had a anaphylactic shock reaction to a medication that I had taken a million times before. I took one, and I called him because I didn't think it was that bad, but I just thought I need to go to the hospital and get some Benadryl. And if I would have waited for the ambulance, I would have died. He got from his work to my house, me to the hospital in 7 minutes.
Wow.
And
that's he's like flexing muscles. He's so funny.
Yeah, that would still be him. And he stayed. I finally sent him home, I guess at 4:00 in the morning. This was 5:00 in the afternoon. And finally, when I was in the ICU and more stable, I had to have an epinephrine drip. I couldn't get off of it. It was horrific. So he saved my life in November, and then that February, just shortly after his birthday, is when a drunk driver hit him head on and killed him. So
he's so funny because he's just like, I was out of there. Like they don't. We're the ones left. Yeah.
I was going to say, I think they pulled his soul right as the accident happened. I don't think he even.
Nope.
I'm hoping
he didn't suffer. Nope, he was out of there. It's funny too because once you're dead, you don't. It's like the ones that are here still on the earth are the ones that suffer, and we think that by suffering along with them somehow we're honoring them or something. We feel like we have to mourn and we have to be so sad and we have to go through the proper, the proper grieving process and all of that. And God forbid, should you be happy or start giggling or laughing, and then it's like, oh no, well, I'm forgetting my son. I have to be sad for years and punish myself in order to, to honor them somehow. But it couldn't be, like when they're on the other side, it couldn't be further from the truth. To honor them is to get as quick as you can and get back into your enjoyment of your life. That's the best way to honor them. And he feels like he wants to do something for you this holiday season. Like, it kind of has a feel of P.S. I Love You, if you've ever seen that movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he is going to lay little hints around the whole season. It feels like until the beginning of the year. Even he's even kind of hinting at something neat happening around Valentine's Day. That he's going to have he's going to be a part of that too. But through the holidays, just keep a lookout for his little winks. He's going to be doing some special things for you just to let you know how special you are to him. You still are. and he's still with you, and he's not going anywhere until he sees that he's saying, until I see a man step up and be the man for her she deserves.
Yeah, well, it's on the go, not Kelly in the head, so I'm just kidding.
Well, he's like, if it's your twin flame or a soulmate or whoever it is, he doesn't care. He's saying he just wants to see a man up for you, and that he is not going to leave your side until that happens. He hears you talking to him. We think that when they talk to us, it's going to be audible, like our voices, and it's not like that. You kind of imagine them being there and kind of talking to you like they always have, and it's them. And you only start to learn that more the more you practice, and they say something that you wouldn't have anticipated them saying. So it's not you making it up, Or sometimes you'll be thinking something, and they'll say something on top of what you're saying, and you're like, how did that even happen?
Yeah, and I do get that sometimes, and there's times where I've been so deep in the hole, and I can just feel him wrap his arms around me and say, Mom, I love you. I got that from him a few times.
Totally. You guys are awesome. And in those times when you've needed your twin to show up and he wasn't, it feels to me like he was holding your hand. So you're never I'm sure the last few days he's been right next to me, because seriously, I was hanging on by fingernails. I had some really dark thoughts that it scared myself even. So I know he was there saying, Mom, I know you're stronger. I know you don't need this. Well, he's saying something funny about like eating Pringles or something, or like eating some kind of like bad food for you, or something you consider to be kind of bad food. He's kind of joking around like, who cares? Just eat the ice cream, eat the pizza, just give yourself permission.
He's trying to feed me still. He would make me breakfast on the weekends and bring it over to my house. He would stop by my work and bring me McDonald's or a chai tea. And Mom, you need to eat. Here,
that is so sweet.
He's still trying to feed me.
Yeah, I saw him sitting next to you opening up a can of Pringles, like while you were crying and stuff. He's like, nom, 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 nom. Like kind of making fun of it. Not making fun of it, but making light of it, trying to get you to kind of lighten up. But also remember too that they honor your feelings. We all go through those down times. We all feel bad. I mean, the intro to the show, I was talking about how I felt today, and when I feel bad like that, I just let myself go down. Just go down. Really feel it and honor those feelings. Validate those feelings. You have the right to those feelings. And it's when you say you don't have the right to have those feelings that you end up having depression. So go down and then get back up. Imagine him making you laugh, and go put on some cool music and dance around a bit, shake it off, and do any kind of exercises that to do, any tools to help any thoughts that might torment you. There's always those regrets. There's always those things that you could have done, you should have done. Maybe you could have called them just before, or maybe, there's so many things that run through our brains that wake us up at 3 o'clock in the morning and we just start sobbing, We've all been there. But, just let yourself feel it, and just remember the best honoring you can do is to be your best self. And joy is, he's saying joy is a gay word, but joy is it,
That's so funny. Yeah.
Joy is the word.
Yeah.
So he wants you. Yeah. So as quickly as possible, tap into that feeling of joy, and the more you do that, the more you'll be able to stay in that, And forget about your twin. You take care of yourself. You be for you what he can't be for you right now. And maybe eventually he'll be able to step up and be that for you. But right now he can't even be there for himself.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I'm doing the right thing by pointing out, it's like, look what this is happening with your kids. And I just wonder if I'm even doing the right thing by trying to make him look at the other side of things. Or not necessarily make him look at the other side of things, just bring that other side to his attention.
No, I think it's all right. I think if you're not, being pushy about it or something, if you're being kind about it, you're just introducing another idea. You're getting his wheels turning. But ultimately, they've got their free will and they do whatever they darn well please, and they are as stubborn as they want to be, and they are imprisoned as they want to be. And there's nothing we can really do, whether we say something or we don't say something, there's not really anything we can do about it. So just trust in the divine timing of things. And also remember that there are options available to the divine feminines right now. I don't know if you've listened to some of these latest episodes, but, there have been a lot of feminines who've experienced love at first sight types of experiences. Others have had someone return from the past that they used to have some real strong feelings for, that those people are starting to come forward back into their lives. They're rekindling old connections like that. That are just really pretty incredible people that are other options. And sometimes when you let go of putting all that pressure on your twin, it relieves them and helps them to see things more clearly as well. And it helps you heal your heart with someone who's more available to you right now. It doesn't mean you're going to, you don't know who you're going to end up with necessarily, so it's not about that, but be willing to leave your heart open to loving someone new. Especially during the holidays. I was so sad last year. I had this platonic boyfriend. We thought that was going to work. But after the holidays came around, and then it was like, well, making all these plans with this family, and he was just like fully going into like a whole thing going on. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That was just to have fun through the holidays. But we do need to like distract ourselves sometimes and go to these art shows and go to see light festivals and go to see we got to make it fun and distract ourselves when they can't be there for us. So if you need to date someone, go date someone and really give them your heart too. Don't go half-hearted going, oh, I wish you were my twin. Really value them for who they are. Obviously, don't go out with a guy you don't like, but go out with a guy that you really do have sincere feelings for, and don't feel guilty about it. If your twins are not showing up, then this is a consequence they have to face, You might fall in love with someone else and pick the other guy. So
I think that's, yeah, and I agree. That's totally, a couple of weeks ago, I finally just said to the universe, you know what, I'm going to let go of all of it, of what I think it's supposed to look like, how it's supposed to go, and just let the universe do its thing. And I was thinking more of Kelly that way, but what you just said resonates of just totally letting go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I let go of my twin about 3 weeks ago, and it just felt incredible. And, I feel like a new person. So do it. And my heart totally
do it.
Somebody else, Yeah, I recommend it. There's someone else I like now, and it's just like, I don't know. My heart's like glowing right now. So it's a good thing. You can love again. Your twin's not necessarily going to be the last one you have those kind of feelings for. And the universe is making sure that, the divine feminines have worked so darn hard on themselves, and they're such kind, loving, powerful, beautiful women that have been trying to honor God or honor the universe through this whole process, especially those who've reached out to like for support within these like twin flame communities and stuff. And God's not just going to leave you to to have like nothing. He's definitely going to be lining up some pretty awesome catches to reward you for how you've been. So if he doesn't show up, someone else will. That'll be so awesome. And I'm seeing it in a lot of feminines. Now, some masculines are stepping up, and I'm seeing that too. But no matter what, the feminines are going to have a happy ending, guaranteed. If they've been working on themselves, like I've been seeing, then beautiful things are happening for them. And their businesses are flourishing, and really incredible miracles are happening all around them. So you will be blessed. Yeah.
I just got to let it happen.
Yeah. Keep your heart open. Keep your heart open and do what you can to be happy, however you can through the holidays, as hard as it is. And if there's something that you're having a tough time dealing with, something that kind of triggers you, try to look at it different so it doesn't trigger you anymore. It's kind of like I used to do positive reinforcement animal training. Mm-hmm. And you can literally take, like, if a dog is terrified of a vacuum cleaner so bad that it just shakes and might even pee or something, you can, if you know what its motivation is, like it could be like throwing a ball for it, or it could be giving it cat food or dog food, wet food or something, or steak or whatever it is. You find out what the dog's thing is, and you give it to them while you turn on the vacuum in the other room. And then you bring the vacuum cleaner closer and closer as the dog doesn't react so much, and then pretty soon the dog's like following the vacuum cleaner around and gets so excited when the vacuum cleaner is, or, when it's brought out of the closet. Right. So we can do that with ourselves. We can look at, a certain Christmas song that makes us shudder because of some horrible past memory, and we can make it like our favorite song. That's the power of our mind. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and I don't ever remember liking Christmas, ever, not even as a child, not being excited about Christmas, I just don't ever remember. I mean, my sisters used to have to drag me out of bed on Christmas morning because I just didn't care.
Wow.
I don't know what happened in a past life, if it was something with Christmas. But I can never remember a time liking Christmas. So maybe I need to do, yeah. I just don't ever. So the holidays one, that's always hard for me, but two, with my son gone, makes it harder. And maybe I just do positive reinforcement somehow to change that. I don't know.
Yeah, get creative with it. Yeah.
So
nothing's coming to mind, but I think your son's going to help with that.
Yeah, and I always make Christmas. I've always made Christmas.
Don't let the bread come trail down. Well, that's really cool of you. That's really cool.
I've always tried to make. Yeah, I have 5, so my youngest is 9.
Oh my gosh!
And I have 6, 7 coming. I have another grandchild coming. We just learned that yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's so kids.
I know, I'm old. I'm old. But
oh my gosh.
I will take all of that. And I guess I will just keep doing what I'm doing with Kelly, doing the gentle support, and let him do his thing. And I know I can't fix this for him. I know I can't do anything to help him, but I can be there supportively, I think.
Mhm. Yeah. So, let me just see something for a second. He likes it. He likes it when you listen and validate his feelings. For him to just be able to say how he's feeling or what he's thinking about something, and you just understand
Yeah, because
That's
he
like
tells
the
me
best
he's
way
so
to get
confused.
him to
Open up. Because
Mhm.
he just tells me, he's like, I wish I could tell you. He's like, I don't even know. He's like, I don't know if I'm doing this the right way or the wrong way, or I know he's so conflicted and confused, and I just let him be that way. I just listen.
Yeah, people will not see what you're trying to show them when they're that confused. They will just think what they want to think. Yeah, I've been in that side of things where I've been the one where someone's trying to convince me of the right thing to do. And I'm like, I'm so confused, and I had the right answer and they were telling me all along and I just wouldn't hear it. It's just part of maturity. It's just part of becoming more self-aware. We grow up through that process, and sometimes look back at it years later and go, man, I was a jackass. you know
Yeah.
But at the time you just won't see it. You just refuse. So
Okay.
But if you're just listening to him, I think that's the best thing you can do. You can offer up your 2 cents.
I do. I'm not shy about that. But I try to do it in a loving, gentle way, not like, you have to do this and you need to do that type of way. I'm just trying to say, like I said, make him look at it through a different point of view. Play devil's advocate, I guess.
Yeah. Have you considered this other point of view, maybe? So, cool.
Yeah. Oh, it was great talking to you. I listen to your podcast a lot, and I've never called in, but
that's awesome. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
What are you usually doing when you listen?
Well, it depends. Sometimes I'm doing dishes. Sometimes I'm just sitting on the couch so I can listen. I do different things. I just have my phone with me and turn it on, and sometimes at my lunch hour at work, I'll turn it on and listen to it. So it actually helps get me through the day. It helps me get through the day sometimes.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yay, you just made my night. Thank you so much. So are you. You've been through a lot. Buy yourself something special for Christmas. Wrap it up and everything.
Yeah? Maybe.
Forget you did it. Or take yourself on a nice weekend trip. Go to some hot springs or something.
Yeah, we have a hot springs that is in our town, which is really nice. So I have a membership, and we can go sit in the hot springs. Actually, my membership is through Kelly's membership, which is kind of funny. We're on it together.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
Right on.
So, thank you so much, Amy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a beautiful night.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you another time, I'm sure.
Okay.
Keep me posted, okay? All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Hello?
Hello?
Hey. Who's this?
Hi. This is Brandy.
Hey, Brandy. Thanks for waiting so long.
It's okay. I felt so bad for her son. I have a son, so I was a little teary-eyed. But, I wish her well.
Yeah, she's a kind soul. You could tell. She's a real sweetheart.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that conversation.
For adequate time.
Actually, listening, I learned a lot. But I know my situation. I mean, you've been here since I've met Charlie, and it was going really well. It was really intense, and we were just real in love, and everything was going great. We had a good time, and then and we moved in together into a real nice house, and things were just going really well for both of us with work and everything. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it just got real negative, and I don't want to cry, but
It's okay. This is the place to get it out.
yeah, but it's just not good right now. And
so what was it that caused kind of a downturn?
Well, he has like this real bad attitude problem, and he gets real moody. He's got real bad just kind of a temper, and it kind of reminds me of kind of like a child, how they throw fits, temper tantrums. And I've been trying to be real nice this whole time, but it's been affecting me and kind of messing with my energy. And the other night I was sleeping and I woke up to him, I think because the cat came in the room and woke him up. But I was sleeping. I woke up to him cussing and throwing on the lights, and my son was sleeping. So I guess, I probably overreacted, but it was just because I was thinking about my son and him sleeping. I didn't want him to hear him cussing. He didn't need to be hearing that in the middle of the night, So
yeah.
So all this rage came inside of me, and I hopped up out of the bed and I yelled at him and I said, "Just get out," because I got sick of it. And I said, "You need to leave right now. Leave. Pack your stuff and go." And he did, and he's been gone for 2 days. I don't know where he's been. And I don't know if he's coming back, and I don't know if it's going to get better. It's just been real negative lately, and it hurts, because it was going so well, and now it's not. And I worry for my kids because of it. I just don't want them around that. And I don't know if it's both of us being stubborn. I don't know if part of it's my fault. Maybe I'm taking him off too. I don't really know what's going on, but
so he hasn't talked to you in 2 days at all?
He didn't talk to me for a whole day. I finally had to call his sister-in-law to see if she's heard from him, because I was worried. I didn't know where he was or if he was alive. Nobody heard from him. And then finally this morning, I had to just say, I'm gonna have to call everybody and have everybody looking for you until I know you're okay. At least just let me know you're okay. And he finally texted me, but he's just real angry at me, and I don't know if it's gonna be. I don't know if he's even gonna come home at this point. I don't know if we're done or if things. Obviously, if it's gonna go down this road and we're gonna be at each other's throats, then it's obviously not good for us, for my kids. But it's hard because I do love him, So.
Yeah. Okay. So if you kind of got a win-win situation in a way, because if he never speaks to you again, then that's kind of really immature, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be with somebody who's like that.
Yeah.
If he calls you, then that means that he's been thinking and he sees, the responsibility that he has for his part of that. And he has the maturity to apologize, probably. If he's willing to call you back, he's probably wanting to work something out. So in that case, then you can have your apology ready as well, and tell him how silly you felt for being so upset and why you were. You'd be able to, explain yourself and apologize for your part. But, it doesn't, I want to feel into it for a minute, because I don't like that it's kind of taken on the habit of the negativity. That's usually kind of an unhealthy sign.
Yeah.
So, and if people start getting abusive or they get super narcissistic and they're just like flat out kind of mean to each other, then that is a sign that it could be a false twin flame.
Right.
And whether it is or not, whatever label you put on it, you don't want to put up with an atmosphere that just makes you feel constantly uncomfortable like that anyway. So if it doesn't work out, as much as you love him, you'd get over it when you found a new guy who, where it's more harmonious and easy to get along. So you would just have to go through a little bit of healing in the interim. But let me feel into him for a minute and try to get some answers for you in terms of whether it's even worth it to stick it out with him.
Okay.
Hang on just a minute. Well, I feel like he's cooling off. He's definitely like thinking about what's happened and what he's done, and he realizes how he's been kind of messing up lately. But I also kind of feel like he's a little scared to talk to you because he's done some things that you're not necessarily going to approve of.
Yeah.
In other words, I think he may have gone and talked to his ex-wife, which is kind of not a good thing because, you know, she's going to be playing him.
Of course she will.
So it's kind of, I feel like she's been offering him her couch. And since they have a daughter together, that can be a thing too. It's like, oh, look, we're a family again. But I don't really feel like he's gone back to her. I don't feel like they're back together. But he's definitely been confiding in her. Yeah?
Yeah, she's engaged to get married right now.
Okay.
And he knows that I don't want him in the house because of the drama that it brings. So I have no idea, honestly, if he's been where he's been staying. So he possibly is staying on her couch. I don't know, you know. So.
Well, I know she's offered it.
I know he knows if he does that, it's completely over between us because I've made that very clear. And I don't know if he'd want to jeopardize that because it's been a problem in the past. So
I think he would lie to you about it. I think he would cover that up. But I think that's part of the reason. When you said he wasn't talking to you, well, actually, part of the reason he's been defensive lately, it feels like there's some guilt there.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's very proud of himself and how he's been to you lately. So
it shouldn't be. It hasn't been good.
Well, that's the thing is, you know, have you listened to the talk where that, like the last episode, I think it was 106, where there's that couple that talk about how they get through things?
I wanted to. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm going to listen to that one.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool one. Yeah, they're really neat the way they work through things. But basically, you know, you can stay. The cool thing about twin flames, if he really is a twin flame, is that whenever they separate, they grow up really fast. And they go through tremendous change because the draw to be together is so strong. So they do whatever they have to figure out, and they do whatever they need to do to kind of grow up fast so that they can meet their partner where they're at more. So you've got, if this can go so many different ways, but if he comes back and he's got his heart on his sleeve and he really wants to have a heartfelt conversation and he seems kind of new and improved, I'd give him another chance.
Okay.
And I would just see how that goes. If it falls back into the old pattern, I would really seriously think about not being with him, at least for a while.
Yeah.
You know, have a real separation, or, you know, really go your own way for long enough to be able to make some serious changes.
Yeah.
But his not calling you, that's not a good sign. I mean, but it's only been a couple days.
He'll text me, but he won't. He's not calling, or he's not trying, you know, to reach out to me. So
he's either blaming you.
I feel like he's trying to hurt me on purpose. You know, he's trying to kind of be like, "I'll show you," for kicking me out, you know, sort of thing. That's kind of how I feel. Like he's being vindictive.
That's really childish. You don't want somebody who acts like that. I don't care if he is your twin. You don't want that.
Yeah.
So, well, then I guess where we're at is you're just kind of like, you got to cut your love life out for a minute. You know, you got to kind of like erase that part. You got to be like a guy and be compartmentalized. You know, you got to like love life set aside. You know, and try not to think about it until the actual moment when he arrives on the doorstep or he calls or something happens that you have to deal with it and face it in that moment. But I would go about your business as if he's not in your life.
Do you think he's going to come back, or does it seem like it's going to be a while?
Yeah, he's definitely going to come back. And let me feel into how that goes for a second. Hang on. Well, it's like his guilt has made him like, oh, she finally did something, and now I can really pin this on her. Yeah, but in actuality, it looks like, yeah, before that he was already feeling guilty, so now that you've done something, it's like, oh, now I can really, when in actuality, it's really he feels like crap about himself and the way he's been treating you.
He admitted that too.
Okay.
You're right.
So let me just feel what that moment feels like when he comes back. It feels like he still has a chip on his shoulder. So you might say, you might start that conversation. If he shows up on the doorstep, you could start the conversation by saying, you know what, I feel really bad for how I treated you. It doesn't matter who apologizes first, It's not an ego thing. It's not who wins. It's not, it doesn't matter. If somebody needs to apologize, they just need to apologize. And then it makes it easier for the other person to kind of open up. And I feel like he will if you do that. So, but I wouldn't text it. I would wait until he shows up, because that would take a lot of courage for him to show up like that. So then that would be like almost like a reward. You showed up. You were strong enough to come stand on my doorstep. So I'm sorry, And then you can get the ball going.
So you think I should just leave him alone till he shows up here and just not even text him or call or anything?
No, I wouldn't bug him. Yep, let him go in his cave. He's retreated. He's licking his wounds. He's thinking about the whole situation, and it's good because that means he's maturing. He's learning. He's processing. He's taking the lesson. He needs to learn from it. He's doing all that. Whenever they pull away, it's a good thing in a sense because they're like building and learning and growing and processing. They usually don't stay in a stale, stuck energy. It may look like they're stale and stuck, but behind the scenes, they're really mulling things over, and they're becoming wiser all the time. So trust that process, that natural process they go through when they pull away like that. And then I would just, go. I'd be open to dating, but I wouldn't date until you've healed your heart a little bit. You need to come to terms with some of the stuff that's happened. And have you been doing Byron Katie's work? Did you try learning how to do that?
I was doing it, and because I got the app on my phone, and I was doing it daily, and I got a new phone, so I haven't been doing it, but I know I need to. I know it's important, so I'm gonna.
Yeah. So some of the thoughts that. Okay. Do you have a pen and paper?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's write down some of the thoughts that you could work on.
Okay.
I need him to come back. I need him to apologize for me to feel okay. That would be one of them.
Okay.
Another would be, I always draw the wrong guy into my life.
And that's how I feel.
Yeah, I know. Another one would be, I need a guy to make me happy.
Okay.
Another could be, I can't have a stable life unless I have a man contributing to it. Let's see, there's one that I'm supposed to come up with here that has something to do with feelings. Let me feel into that for a minute. Because this is in case you want to date. I don't trust myself to make the best decision when it comes to choosing a man. Because I can see you going on a date and being kind of distrusting because you've just been through this situation.
Yeah.
So face that one.
Dating is not appealing to me at all right now. So.
Yeah, you're hurting too much. So just tend to your own feelings and some of these stressful thoughts that you'll be having through this time. Try to focus on yourself and having a good time. Make Christmas really special and Thanksgiving really special, and for you guys. And yeah, your daughter still needs to call me. I think that would be fun to do sometime soon.
She won't do it. I've been trying to talk to her and get her to do it, and she's just really stubborn. But maybe if I sit down and just have the phone on and sit down next to her and just kind of put it on, she might start talking. But,
well, you know what I might do? I might do a little talk on some of these things that she wants to explore and look into.
Mm-hmm.
And then she could just listen to the show.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and make a list of questions that she frequently asks you, because just so the audience knows, she has experiences with ghosts and things like that. She's able to sense things and see things, and she has a lot of questions about how to deal with and cope with all that. So yeah, write down a list of questions, and
okay.
I'll do a show where I address all her questions.
Okay, I'll have her do that. Or I'll write them down for her, because I know she won't.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And
yeah.
So I'm a little nervous. It's hard because I want him to come back. That's how I feel. I'm just sad to lose him. But
okay, why do you want him to come back?
Because I love him. But I know.
Why do you love him?
Because I remember how it was at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
And that's how I want it to be. So,
how did that feel in the beginning?
It felt.
What was it like?
We were happy. I was happy. I felt secure and loved. Taken care of.
Okay.
Just kind of whole. Just kind of like, just real happy.
Okay, so one of the things that you can do, and this is using your manifesting abilities, is I want you to just sit and meditate on all those things that you loved about how things were going back when, without being sad about it, and without thinking of the fact that you lost it all. I want you to go back and do a meditation on just thinking about how good it felt for him to treat you so great, to feel provided for, to feel like someone's sharing in your space and you guys are laughing and having a great, easy time together, and just imagine all that happening again.
Okay.
Because what that's going to do is it's either going to recreate it between the two of you, or it's going to bring a man who will be that way with you. Okay. Either way, it's a win-win. You want to get win-wins going.
Okay.
Yeah. So no more dwelling in sadness. Just take what you loved about it and dwell on that and milk it.
Okay.
Milk it, meditate it. Use the situation to empower you to manifest that back into your life, whether it's through him or someone else. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. And then work on those thoughts too, because that'll help neutralize the venom of those thoughts.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, girl. You're welcome.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Have a good night.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so we are going to close out here. I just want to see something here. Oh, there's a little bit more there. Okay, so Laura and I are going to be doing a live Skype session tomorrow on the Be a Good Soul channel on YouTube at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, or approximately around there. Thank you so much to those of you who emailed me after my newsletter went out and congratulated me on the center with Laura. I really appreciate your support so much. And it's a really exciting time for us. We are like just the best of friends already, and just constantly are texting each other and voicemailing each other all the time. And it's just been really fun, and we really enjoy working with each other a lot. So it's such a blessing in both of our lives to have met each other. Also, wanted to give you guys a little bit of a fun challenge. So this Thanksgiving coming up, I encourage you to try an exercise on for size. I've talked about this before, but I'm going to mention it again because some people are new. And just see how long you can go for it and what it does for you. I call it the I loves. So after you're all snug in your bed, hopefully with a full belly, start listing up all the things that you love, even if you don't actually have it, see it, or feel it anymore, or never have. I love financial freedom. I love having a partner who supports me. I love classical guitar music. I love learning new things. I love realizing what a great person I am. I love seeing myself as beautiful. I love when others give to me. I love surprising people in heartwarming ways, etc. One time I did this for an hour, and I felt like I was levitating. I was so blissed out. It was so incredible. If you get in the habit of doing this every night, or when you're concerned about things, you will have or feel a dramatic shift in your life. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I hope you do practice that exercise just for fun, just to see what happens. In closing, be sure to follow me at www.thesatorishow.podbean.com if you'd like to be notified when these shows pop up, and call 256-291-1191 any Sunday at 6:30 Mountain Time to ask me a question about life, your relationship, developing your intuition, have me give you a performance review, receive a blessing, or get some healing, and be on the show. Also, if you think of a topic that you'd like to come on the show and talk about, something you believe would benefit its listeners, you can email me at amysatori@gmail.com. And of course, if you'd like a private reading, you can go to amysatori.com and book a reading. And if you enjoy the show and think it could help a friend, please copy the link and send it to them. Also, join my 1111 Twin Flame Forum group for additional support. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Satori Show, and have yourself a good night or day wherever you might be. And I'll catch you next time on The Satori Show.